I just wanted to put a video out there because they got these guys that call themselves the gods of law. You know, you got the one dude named Amin Osiris. You got the one guy named Rick W. You got another brother by the name of Wasil Bay. And I've called all three of them. Well, I haven't called Rick W because he never gives you his phone number, but I wound up going with Rick W. I contacted Wasil Bay, and his numbers was like off the hook. It was like $2,000. He quoted like right over the phone. I was like, damn, 2,000. I was like, how long would it take? He was like, it'd take about a month or two. And I'm like, shit. But I just thought it was steep, you know. But then I had talked to Amin Osiris, and he seemed like he was a little bit more knowledgeable and everything. You know, maybe I should have probably went with him instead. But nonetheless, I mean, the message is for all three of y'all. I know a couple of y'all are beefing now, like on some, this is crazy. Like, you're gonna turn this Facebook education into the WWF of this child support. Who got the most leaders? Who's an idiot? This name calling petty, man. It's petty. I'm putting this out there so if there's anybody who's used their paperwork and got some results, like case dismissed, money came back, they seen it in your favor outside of just a judgment because somebody didn't show up, you know, or like something like that, and using their paperwork, please come forward. I mean, it only takes a couple of, you know, presses of the finger to get to this YouTube thing and upload the video, and then you can find out. That's why I'm doing it. So I use Rick W. I paid him a donation that was pretty reasonable. It was fair out of the rest of them, you know. Wasil Bay's was like 2,000. Amin Osiris's was like 600, 700, something like that. And Wasil, you know, and Rick W's was like a buck and change. It was like, I'm going with that. So, you know, I gave him a donation. He gave me like a bunch of emails. You know, he was prompt in doing so. He thanked me and everything. Gave me all these instructions and PDFs and, like, you know, case laws and study material. And I took some time to read through it. You know, I started building like momentum. Like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. But, you know, I've been going through this court case stuff since 2009, and I'm in arrears like you don't know what, off of the strength that I missed a court case. I missed a court case. Long story, but I was served at a different location, and then I never updated my date with the my address with the courts. So when they sent the notification, like almost 2 years later, I didn't get the notification, and I didn't find out about it until they started like garnishing my wages when I was working for a company. And it was like, you know, it went from like I was only paying like a very small amount, and it went up 400%, like 400%, and it was killing me. It was killing me, and because in the state I'm in Maryland, if a judge doesn't, you know, most of the time it's heard by like an officer of the court, like a magistrate or like something like that. That's what they call them. They think they call them masters too. But if a master makes a determination or a magistrate makes a determination, you have 10 days to kind of like appeal it. And I didn't find out till like almost 2 months later when they started garnishing my wages. Mind you, they didn't send me any notification. So I retained counsel and tried to go about it another way by going for, you know, joint physical custody to reduce the payments. But it didn't work out for me. I lost, you know, I got joint legal custody, but I didn't get joint physical custody. And so my payments, they reduced it like a couple of more $100, but it's still pretty expensive. And then I was charged the arrears for the 18 months that it took, you know, the retroactive. So I went from being in arrears from like a few $100s to like over 20 grand in a matter of a day, you know. And I was like crushed. I tried to talk to, you know, my kid's mother, and she wasn't trying to work it out. She just was like, I ain't got nothing to do with that. You owe me this money now. And I was just like, wow, like, so I was hurt, man. And then losing a court case like that, and So we put a motion in to try to reduce it because I went into business for myself. I'm blessed to have a trade to where I can earn, I guess an unlimited amount of income if I manage it right. I'm an electrician. And for these people out there, I think that might be a solution that I see is just to 1099 yourself and then you start your own business, get incorporated, get your licenses, and then pay yourself from the LLC, and just tell them that this you make $10 an hour, $8 an hour, anything like that, and they just have to accept that. But I'm not trying to tell you any ways to get over, but that's just the one way I learned that worked out for me. But long story short, I put a motion in. My attorney and I put a motion in about a year and a half ago now, and they haven't even heard it. I'm in Prince George's County, Maryland, and it just kind of fell through the cracks. I don't know what's going on, but they seem to delay that, but they've pushed forward the contempt of court, and that's moved rather quickly. So I've had my license suspended. I've been arrested for that because it's an arrestable offense. My car insurance rates are out the roof now because I'm considered a high-risk driver. I mean, I don't even drink. I don't have any DUIs, anything like that. And, because I got caught driving without a license, while my license was suspended, it caused me to be considered a high-risk driver. So there's a lot more that I have to pay and suffer for because me trying to I was trying to rebel. I was a little pissed off. I was like, I'm gonna make this woman suffer. I'm gonna do all of these things, and I started stumbling across any information I could find, and then I stumbled across the guy Armin Osiris calls himself the God of Law, and then he told me to look up Rick W, and I looked up Rick W. Then I found a guy Wasil Bay, and that's where I began. And I'm putting this video out because, once Rick W gave me the information, the counsel that I know, I actually know her personally, so she gave me a good deal to help me out so I wouldn't be representing myself, and I know how to deal with the issue. I started telling her about this guy. I was like, you know what? None of this stuff seems to work. They're not listening to the motion. They're dragging their feet. But it looks like I could potentially go to jail. And I admit that I was being a little difficult. I was deliberately paying a minimum amount I could pay. And then when they threatened to suspend my license, I'll pay more just so I can keep it from doing it. Then I just kind of flat out, I tried to talk to her again, and she was not having it. And I just was like, F it. I'm just going to, whatever. I'm going to just take it all the way to the end, go to court, and then pay a couple of $100, make it look like I'm struggling. Just playing games, man. I'm going to be real with you. I was playing games. And I had court today, and here's the result. They in my state, they would at least give you an opportunity to call purge. So, if you go in there and, the woman is the one who kind of calls the child support enforcement agency and tries to, hold me for contempt. She don't really got to do nothing but call them, and then they'll push it. They'll give her the representatives, and they'll push it. They'll, bring up your whole history of what you paid and everything. And then the magistrate will say, well, what do you want to do? They'll ask you your circumstances. They'll ask the lady, the other party, and then they'll say, oh, yeah, I want to bring it before a judge. Then you got to give them a reason. So, she was just I just want them to learn a lesson. And the judge was like, oh, that's not good enough reason. We're going to give them an opportunity to pay. So they ordered me to do a jobs program and pay this amount because my license was suspended. I'm like, well, I can't work if my license is suspended, So she's like, all right, you got to pay this amount and then you get your license back. So I did that, still waited, delayed it, waited to the last minute to go to court today, came in there and paid at the courthouse. And they're like, well, did you get the jobs program? I'm like, no. And I was like, I got a job though. And, named my company as I work for them. Even though it's an LLC, and then they asked her again, what do you want to do? You want to bring her before the court? And, she was like, yeah, I want him to go before the judge. And, I was telling them, well, I gave my daughter some money to go shopping so she can learn how to budget. I paid for her dentist. I paid this amount. And then the magistrate was like, all right, we're going to bring it up to the court. So now I got to go to court for the shit. So what I'm going to do, and I know some of the other masters of child support or whatever they call themselves, are gonna be like, oh, you're being a dumbass, you're getting fucked or whatever. Yeah, cool. Yeah, you know, I might be. But what I'm learning is this shit is not going nowhere unless I pay. So anyway, to get back to my point, I had mentioned to my friend who's also my attorney representing me, was like, hey, I ran across this guy, I paid for this paperwork, like, can you look over it for me, because it sounds like it's some good stuff. I watch this guy's videos, like he loads a few videos a week. I get the notification, I'm catching it, I'm reading, I'm listening to what he says, I get confidence, I'm thinking like, this might be the best thing to do. I might not even need your help, but if you are here, that might be better. We can use this stuff. So she was like, you know, like have him send some proof of the responses to his argument, right? So like, you know, if you guys are going through child support or custody, you know that they'll during the case they'll cite case law why they, you know, went in favor for you or not, or, you know, throughout the course of the hearing, you know, the opposing party will have a case that cites case law, you know, you have case law or whatever, and then there's an opinion. There's an opinion from the court of what the determination was, you know, especially if you're appealing and stuff, you know, they'll say all this stuff of why they made the determination. I mean, it's just the way our government works, right? And so I asked Rick W, like, yo, look, man, I emailed him. It's like, hey, man, I only reached out one time to get the paperwork, and, you know, I have somebody working with me who's an attorney. She's my friend. Like, she wanted to know if you can show in some proof, you can cover your name up or whatever of like what the opinions were based on your documents, show proof that, you know, you got this thing dismissed, because we can just directly use that. We don't even have to do all the paperwork he's talking about. We can just use case law based on his case, right? I mean, why show all these other cases that have nothing to do with your case? If you got it dismissed, we should be able to pull up your case, and we could just use that shit. Everybody can use it if it's yours, like the similar situation to yours. And he responded to me like a day later, like, I will not. Don't trust lawyers, they're a gang. And I'm like, what? Like, how you going? That's like saying because you were an ex-police officer, I shouldn't trust you now, right? Because all police officers, I'm from New York too. Even though I live in Maryland, I'm from Harlem. All police officers back then to me were a gang too, right? But does that mean that I paint everybody with a broad brush? Does that mean Rick W is part of the gang? Is he really, you know, full of it? You know, I can't really say that. That's not right. You know, you don't know what the circumstances are with this lawyer and everything like that. So that's what he said, you know. So I didn't even respond back after that. I was like, man, you know, this is bullcrap, man. So she went on to do some research on her own. She was like, she checked this thing called LexisNexis and was like, she pulled up all the information or what is, you know, this case and everything like that. And pretty much to sum it up, she was just like, this is a whole bunch of gibberish bullshit. Like, you know, he went to federal court twice, and the courts was trying to tell him, look, you can appeal this to send it back to the lower courts. But he's so fixed on this paperwork and everything that she said she didn't see anything get dismissed on her end. So what I'm saying is I want to reach out to the people who've used their paperwork and can prove it. If anybody's watching this, because I know I'm probably going to get people that's going to be like, hey, you're just being a hater, and I believe in it. And you can believe in whatever you want to believe in. But if there's anybody out there who's watching this and they can connect with this vibe that I'm putting out here, show some proof, please. Show somebody who's got their joint dismissed and using your paperwork and what case law they cited and how it worked out. I don't want to see tons of videos of responses from the Department of Health and the state's attorney and, you know, the whatever state you're in. That doesn't help us out. I look at that as just marketing. Like, you're just marketing that we're getting momentum. So it's easy to rake in, you know, whatever your donations are and your fees with the hope that it's gonna work. But I see some people starting to come out and call people out like their paperwork don't work. I mean, the one dude calls himself the God of Law and everything. Yeah, people calling him out. He put a video out that reminds me of like it's just so confrontational, man. Like, I don't see anybody trying to be intellectuals about it. Like, you know, everything is all egotistical and calling each other names and stuff. It's turned to the point where it's just almost like a joke now. You know, what I'm gathering from all this information is just deal with the stuff. If you are, you know, if you made a mistake and you impregnated someone, or you was married, things didn't work out, and you have a child, like, just deal with the shit. If she takes you to court, or you taking them to court, deal with it. Pay the fucking support, because there's more problems that come from not doing it than doing it. There's so many ways you can negotiate with people. Like, my attorney was talking to, you know, my kid's mother, and when we left the court, and now she's willing to negotiate, because I don't think she really wants me to go to jail. She just wants me to pay consistently. She know I stopped paying because I was being an asshole about it. But really, we can work something out. Like, hey, how about I pay this portion, but I pay the same amount, but this portion goes towards the arrears, and this goes going forward. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that way it could be worked out fair, you know, and I won't have to be worried about these people pounding on my back, taking my passport, my licenses, and all of that stuff, my professional licenses. It causes more turmoil for me, which in turn affects her, because she's going to depend on my income to supplement her income and my daughter when she's with her. And just, you know, I don't want to be visiting my daughter through a window, or like over a table. You know, I don't want to subject her to that. So I made the choice that I'm going to go ahead and just pay the shit. I'm not using nobody's paperwork, especially not yours, Rick W., because I really lost all confidence in you. And I just want to see some people put some paperwork up here. Like, I want to see somebody who can show something, you know, inbox me or whatever if you can, you know, so I can see it. I'll post it up there, but hide your name. I want to see if it's really real. It shouldn't be that hard to do at this time of our life. You know, it's 2017. We'll be close to 2018. Everybody can jump on this video, press a button, make it public, and put it out there. I'm not calling anybody names. I'm not calling anybody frauds and stuff. I'm just calling you guys out and putting you guys on notice. Like you said with your paperwork, I'm putting you guys on notice. Tell if it's really real by showing it. Don't give me a whole bunch of videos and, you know, websites. Show me some cases where this was dismissed. Like, here's the package of the people that were dismissed. I have 100 people that I've dealt with in the last 20 years that this was dismissed. Such and such, such and such. You know, here's the proof. I like to see that. If it's out there, maybe I missed it, but I definitely haven't seen it yet. So everybody else is looking for the easy way out. The easy way out is probably just go in there and try to work with the courts, man. Say, listen, this is what I make. Pay the damn money, man. Pay the money. Make the sacrifices. Yeah, your children. Do what you got to do. Be smart. Start your own business. Or budget your money really good. Make some sacrifices and just suck that shit up, man. All right? This is Tex. I want to put a video out there. You know, shout out to all the fathers out there that's going through it, trying to find a way. And shout out to the people who's out there on the internet actually really helping people that can prove it. You know, we just need more positive people on these channels that can help us out. Not these egotistical, you know, wannabes that claim that they can do this for you. All right? Thanks for watching the video. Thumbs it up if you like it, or thumbs it down.